Awesome. Sounds good. I love this pressure.
Good.
Hey everybody, welcome to Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride 2021 virtual event. We have the gentlemen here from Malloway Brothers Shop, Wick and Blake, who are going to be setting us off with wonderful intentions with our opening ritual. So without any further ado, and you don't need to hear from me right now, let's turn it over to them. And guys, go ahead and take it away.
Perfect. Hi everyone. How's it going? Happy 2021 Pagan Pride. I can't believe it's already 2021.
I know. It's the future.
I'm Blake. This is Wick. We are the owners of Malloway Bros, Spells, Charms, and Potions in Rogers Park. I feel like a lot of folks that have attended these events in the past have maybe heard of us. But if you haven't, we encourage you to come out and check us out. We're located at 1407 West Morse in the Rogers Park neighborhood. Before we get started with our ritual today, we're going to talk a little bit about the transition from life into death during this time of the year.
A good light topic.
Yes, very light, very light. One of the, and again, I want to preface everything that we say here by with this is just our practice, our tradition. We don't necessarily want or need everybody to subscribe to our beliefs. So I know we can have the back and forth dialogue on this platform that we usually encourage in our workshops. So just take it for what you will. But it seems like a lot of people put so much emphasis on working with the dead on one night of the year, and that is Halloween, right? Everyone talks about the dead coming back, the dead are the ancestors need to be worshipped or venerated on Halloween. And, that's great. But for us, working with the dead is not a one night of the year thing. It's a 365-day a year. Sometimes it's hard to get them to talk and stop talking. And anybody that's pretty active in spirit work, knows where we're coming from. So the theme of transitioning from life to death for us usually starts at the equinox. And we just had the equinox about a week and a half ago. And at that time, we saw night taking over. The daytime is now the shortest time of the day. Nighttime is picking up. And it's the time when the dead are starting to cross over and start making their journeys. So we tend to view this time of the year as the time when the spirits start coming back. And on Halloween, when the veil starts closing, that's when, we work on celebrating, sending them off, and kind of just approaching it from that mindset. So they don't necessarily come back one night of the year. They start making their journey back now. So that's the purpose of this ritual, to start lighting the way for the dead. And I want to point out too that we like to get pretty wordy with some of our incantations. That's just who we are as people. So we're a little extra. We know this. So if anybody wants a copy of the ritual that we're going to do to work on their own, feel free to email us or reach out to us on Instagram or Facebook. info@Malloway Bros is the email. So we'll start with a little overview of what we're looking at here with today. So we've got an incense that we're going to start creating using some frankincense, tobacco, and sandalwood. All of these ingredients for us are great for clearing the way, spirit communication, and just ensuring that we've got a good transition from the other world into this world. We've got our little cauldron here that's going to be holding our incense. Wick is muddling up the incense for us in the mortar. Want to show us, Wick?
Oh.
And then we have also got a skull that we found in the woods. The idea of using a skull in ritual is twofold. It's from a spirit of the dead, right? Or from a creature that is dead, so it has a strong connection to the other world. And it also once held life. And anything that once held life is fantastic to use in rituals whenever you're working to strengthen that connection with the other world. So that's the reason that we chose what we chose here today. Part of the ritual is going to involve laying a compass, which is our makeshift circle. It's going to look a little odd on camera. Usually, if we were doing this in person, we would be walking around chanting. Everybody would be participating, but you get to just deal with us two chanting at you for a couple minutes here.
Always fun.
And then after that, we'll do an acknowledgement of the four roads. In a lot of pagan traditions, the north, south, east, west, those are usually invoked, or the elements of those quarters are usually invoked to call for blessing, protection, guardianship over the working ground. In our paths, though, we tend to view the four roads of north, south, east, and west as paths of power. So these are the roads that the spirits take into the circle, right? So as we're calling from these four directions, we're kind of creating that melting point in the middle for all of the spirit presence to manifest for us. So it's not so much about protection for us as it is about creating an avenue for power. And usually, if we were doing one of our workshops at this point, we would pause and ask anyone if they have questions. We can't do that, of course.
Just talking to the void again.
But yeah, Wick, what do you have to say about anything?
Yes. So one thing, going back to the skull again. So this is something where in the actual ritual itself, it's something where you're going to try to give something that will be more of an offering or a sustenance to the spirit itself, so it can take hold onto material form. So the skull is something that is very resemblant, is that a word?
Resembles.
I like resemblant. It's very resemblant of the material form, so it's something where the actual spirit can kind of manifest on this plane a little bit more. If you want to use something else, you can also use a root, a stone, or something that actually would be sustenance to the spirit, like a fruit or some kind of a drink.
And remember, the whole theme of this ritual is lighting the way, right? So of course we're going to have a candle that we use as the focal point for our ritual. You can use any candle. We're just using a plain unused white candle. This is going to serve as that light that guides the way. And this is a fun ritual to start on the eve of the equinox and keep working as a part of your practice throughout the duration of the coming months until you get to Halloween, of course, right? And then on Halloween, of course, you've got the dumb supper, you've got all these other traditions and festivities that encourage a deeper connection with the spirit world. So shall we begin?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do this ritual. Did you light the charcoal?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've got our charcoal going here.
Nope.
We'll get the charcoal going. We'll get our incense muddled a little bit more. Now, as you're prepping your ritual, working with the dead is never a light or haphazard thing. I'm going to quote practical magic here, but you can't practice witchcraft when you're looking down your nose at it, right? So the idea here is as you're mixing your ingredients and prepping for your ritual, you want to be holding the image of your ancestors or the spirits you're communing with in your mind's eye. See their face, remember their experiences, remember their emotions, if you were fortunate enough to know them while living, and just let all of those feelings kind of overtake you and fuel the ingredients that you're charging here in the mortar.
I feel like a lot of time with these kinds of rituals, it's really great to almost imagine their presence, like what it was like when they were in the room with you, and you pull that forward as much as you can to almost carve out the space for them for when they do appear.
And I like to describe it as, that feeling of turning off all the lights and then running upstairs, and then you feel that presence behind you. Or you're in the woods and just beyond the line of sight there's something in the distance. That's the feeling that we're working to evoke in this ritual. We want that feeling of otherworldly presence here with us as we're working everything. So the more you can focus on creating that, the stronger your connection with the other world is going to be for this.
If you want to say, if you have anything of the spirits that you're specifically trying to call, like you have a picture of them, you have any items of them, that's something that would be great to actually add to the circle itself. So you would put that here next to the candle. And once we get started, we're actually going to go into this candle here and start carving in the names of anyone that we might want to draw in. But again, like that's something where if you have someone specific, if you don't have someone specific, then skip that step and worry about it.
All right. So I think we are good here. Mr. Wick, would you like to join me in the compass conjuration?
Oh boy, do I.
All right. So remember, keep in mind that if we were doing this ritual in person, it would be a lot more involved with the steps and the applications. So we're going to ask everybody to do now, just kind of close your eyes, picture your ancestors, contribute as much of your own personal energy to this ritual as you feel compelled to do, and just kind of listen to the sound of our chanting coming out of your computer. Okay? We conjure thee, O compass round, be ye cast and be ye bound, by road above and road below, by hare, by toad, by snake, by crow, white spirits, red spirits, gray spirits, black, we conjure thee by threefold track, be ye cast and be ye bound, hallowed be, O compass round. We conjure thee, O compass round, be ye cast and be ye bound, by road above and road below, by hare, by toad, by snake, by crow, white spirits, red spirits, gray spirits, black, we conjure thee by threefold track, be ye cast and be ye bound, hallowed be, O compass round. We conjure thee, O compass round, be ye cast and be ye bound, by road above and road below, by hare, by toad, by snake, by crow, white spirits, red spirits, gray spirits, black, we conjure thee by threefold track, be ye cast and be ye bound, hallowed be, O compass round. By the road above and the road below, and the quarters cross where all is one, hallowed in hood, so shall it be.
So shall it be.
All right. Now at this time, Wick is going to start carving the initials or the names of the ancestors that we like to work with and align ourselves with this time of the year. For us, it is good old Auntie Adele Black. She was the witch of Glastonbury, England. And this woman was probably one of the most incredibly magical people that I've ever met. I remember she just exuded this aura of power around her. Everybody in this town knew who she was, and they would just have this tendency of giving her whatever she asked for or whatever she needed without her even having to ask for it.
I remember, she like fell out of a fairy tale. She was amazing.
She really was. I remember one time in particular, she was taking us on a walking tour through Glastonbury to study some of the baneful herbs that were growing out there. And one of the stops called for us to get into Glastonbury Abbey, which is a like a federally or like a government run facility for them. It's a part of the National Trust. So they charge fees. There's the gift shops. Like you can't just walk in. It's pretty highly regulated. She walks up to the counter and she just gives the person working the front desk a look and says, "I'm taking these two boys in." And without even missing a beat, the woman goes, "Yep, have a good day." Just lets us through without paying. And it was that kind of prominence that she just carried with her. She did pass away in February of 2020. So she's missing all of the craziness of the pandemic here. But that's fine. And she's become a person that we like to focus on and talk about a lot, and someone who inspires a lot of our personal practice. She did tell us that if someone's ever showing off and you want to get back at them, all you have to do is look at them out of your left eye and say,
"Show off, fall off."
Show off, fall off.
I use that on him a lot.
He uses that on me a lot. That's those types of lessons that we like to keep in the forefront of our minds from our ancestors, and also the types of stories that we like to tell during this time of the year. As the dead cross over, this is a time of remembrance, so it's important to keep those stories and those traditions alive. So now that we've got our compass called or laid, and we've got our candle carved with Adele's name, we're going to start acknowledging the spirits of the four ways and drawing those virtues over to us. So what I'm going to do here, got it? Let's see here.
Not working with the best charcoal.
Right. There we go. Okay. So what we're going to do here is take up our incense, and we're going to start smoking the four ways. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go from north to south, east to west, north to south, east to west, north to south, east to west. By the smoke, these roads are drawn through the veil between dusk and dawn. By the smoke, these roads are drawn through the veil between dusk and dawn. By the smoke, these roads are drawn through the veil between dusk and dawn. By the smoke, these roads are drawn through the veil between dusk and dawn. Now, if we were doing this like in our ritual circle, at this point, we would take a moment to just kind of sense, hear, taste, smell, feel, whatever senses you need to invoke to experience the spirits of the four ways, culminating from their four directions into the center of your working ground. And these are the paths that the spirits take to meet and work with us.
All right. The next step here is we're going to light this candle. And what you want to do with this is you want to take something of yourself. This could be like a piece of your hair, your name written down on paper, a thread from your clothing, and you want to burn it in the flame itself. This makes sure that anything that you're calling in is something that has a connection to you. So you're not just calling in random spirits. And again, like even if it's not a specific spirit that you want to call on, it's going to be one that isn't really going to do you any harm. Oh, I'll pull that a lot. All right. Blood to blood and bone to bone, heart to heart, I call you home. Blood to blood and bone to bone, heart to heart, I call you home. Blood to blood and bone to bone, heart to heart, I call you home. Blood to blood and bone to bone, heart to heart, I call you home.
Excellent. Then at this point, we have our skull that we're going to be using, our found skull, that's going to represent a vessel of life. And this is something tangible for that spirit to kind of latch onto, right? So at this point, you would have your memento of the departed, you'd have your incense burning, you'd have your candle glowing, serving as that beacon. And this is going to act as that tether for us, right?
And again, this could be replaced with something like a root, some kind of a food that they might have liked, or a drink, anything that they would have liked to, even like if they were really into cigarettes, if they had a Star Trek addiction, you could use that too. So there are options here, but
the point is to make a working ground that's comfortable for the ancestors. And we struggle with this, answering this question before, like, why would the ancestors want smoke, incense smoke? Why would they want candles? Like what purpose could that possibly serve for the ancestors besides veneration? And again, this is just our theory. If we were talking on, face to face, we would of course encourage conversation about this, but it's our thought process that they like these things because they're the pleasures of life. Right? The one thing a spirit can't experience without our help is the pleasures of life, the wholeness and freshness of life. And that's why our offerings are accepted. That's why we burn smoke so they can smell it. It's these things that they can't get by themselves in the spirit world. So that partnership between witch and spirit world happens when we're making offerings that they're able to benefit from just as much as the wisdom and power they're giving us. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking the vessel, and I am letting the smoke from our cauldron kind of fill it, just to kind of, cleanse, purify, sanctify this a little bit. And then before you start chanting, the final incantation here, what you want to do is, again, let that feeling of that otherworldly presence just build around you. Feel your ancestors, sense them. Every now and then I'll get a whiff of patchouli that just kind of brushes under my nose, and no matter where I am, whenever I'm stressed out, I will always smell that patchouli. And for me, that's like the sign that my grandmother is near. Like that was what she always wore. And that's just kind of like her way of, hey, I'm here. Everything is fine. Just chill out, Blake. So those are the types of things you want to bring to the forefront of your mind as you kind of lay the vessel down and say, hear and consume the offer made, ones who dwell among the shade. Given life, sweet pleasures whole, feed the spirit, call the soul. Hear and consume the offer made, ones who dwell among the shade. Given life, sweet pleasures whole, feed the spirit, call the soul. Hear and consume the offer made, ones who dwell among the shade. Given life, sweet pleasures whole, feed the spirit, call the soul. All right. And the idea is you keep chanting these words until you kind of just trance out a little bit. And in these tranced experiences, these trance states, is when you have that amazing communion with the other world. You can talk to them, invite them back, continue working and strengthening your relationship with them until you have the big send-off on Halloween. And then once you've gone through the process of inviting the ancestors, lighting the way, clearing the path with smoke, and then providing the vessel through the skull, you can deconstruct your ritual. And when we deconstruct, we say, Rentum tormentum, Rentum tormentum, Rentum tormentum. And the rite's been concluded. And the idea is after you do this, you can continue with these rituals, light the candle anytime you need to commune with that ancestor. And then on Halloween is when you have the big send-off in their honor. Like I said, very simple ritual just to start lighting the way for the ancestors to come back for us. If anyone is interested in reading or having this ritual for themselves, please shoot us an email. Pop by the store if you want. We'd love to chat with you about it. But we hope everyone has a fantastic Pagan Pride and a fantastic spooky season.
Happy Halloween!
Happy Halloween, everyone. Bye.
Just kidding. Since I didn't have my audio on for the last bit there, I just wanted to kind of reinstate my thanks to Wick and Blake from Malloway Bros Shop and make sure that you all had an opportunity to check in with them too. Their shop is in Rogers Park in the city. And make sure that if you stop in there, let them know that you saw them here on Pagan Pride and give them some props for that ritual. That's absolutely phenomenal. For Pagan Pride, the rest of it is going to be happening on Discord. We are going to have a live altar stream here where we'll be kind of running live for the rest of the event with a community altar where you can share your intentions, put your positive, benevolent intentions towards the event, towards whatever you need, petitioning for help in your life, really whatever it is that you need that is going to help bring a little bit of joy into your world and into the world around us. So I encourage you to follow us and like us here on YouTube. Find our Facebook page at Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride, and we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, not too active there. Might catch us every once in a while on TikTok. But, Facebook's where you're going to find us mostly, and we're trying to utilize our Discord as well. So if you haven't been to the Discord channel yet, the easiest way to get there is tinyurl.com/GCPP, Greater Chicagoland Pagan Pride 2021. Again, that's tinyurl.com/GCPP 2021. And that'll drop you into the server. Follow the directions there to get access to all the channels. The Cauldron is the main place where you're going to be finding people chatting and interacting with each other. And we do have 3 different workshop channels there as well that are going to be starting at 12. Workshops are at 12, 2, and 4 o'clock. And got a wonderful lineup there. You can find our schedule on the Discord as well as on our Facebook page. And yeah, we've got a bunch of fun going on over there. So make sure that you stop in, say hi, let us know that you found the event through YouTube or through Facebook, and yeah, say hi while you're there. Blessed be, and let's have a fantastic Pagan Pride, everyone.